So this is very important quality that we should also develop, that we should be always curious to know the truth, and also be asking questions that can lead us to truth. So in order to show this important quality of hearing through him, the first verse was spoken by him. So we should also develop a quality of hearing, which is very important, to hear the truth, to hear about the God. And so this was about the first verse. In second verse, since he asked questions, Sanjay was replying, and Sanjay said, "O king, seeing the military arrangements of Pandavas, King Duryodhan went to his guru and said the following words." So in the third verse, it says that, "O Acharya, look at the giant army of Pandavas, which is skillfully arranged by your very own son of your intelligent disciple Drupad." So in the third verse, like it is being said in sarcasm. So there is a story behind this. The story is like this, that Duryodhan, Drupad and Dronacharya were together in Gurukul, and Drupad had told to Dronacharya to remember him if he ever need any favor in life, as they were very good friends during the time of Gurukul. But after they left Gurukul, Drupad became king and he started ruling, while Dronacharya was a Brahmin, so he was just living a very simple life. So one day, his son Ashwathama was very desirous of drinking milk, and someone, seeing his desire, just gave him lime water, saying that this is milk, you drink. And Dronacharya learned about this, and he became very sad that he is not able to afford milk to his son also. Like, he felt very bad about this, and he was thinking what he can do about it. So then he got reminded of Drupad, thinking that as a friend he will welcome him, and he will help him out. But when he went there, when he went to Drupad, instead of welcoming, he was just insulting him, saying that friendship cannot be between us, like it has to be same level, and he just highly humiliated and disrespected Dronacharya. So Dronacharya decided to teach him a lesson. So when Dronacharya trained so after that, Dronacharya trained Kauravas and Pandavas in military science, and in return of Guru Dakshina, he asked them to imprison Drupad and just bring it to him. First Kauravas went, but they couldn't defeat him because he was really very powerful. But then when Pandavas went, they imprisoned Drupad and brought to Dronacharya, and Dronacharya was just like being Brahmin, like just to he just forgiven, saying that okay, you're forgiven, just release him. But as a Kshatriya, Drupad was feeling very insulted. So he developed rivalry feelings again in his heart. And after that, he did a lot of penance. And through that penance, he received boon of Draupadi and Drishtadyuman, his son. And later, his son went to Dronacharya to learn military science. And even though he was knowing Dronacharya that he is going to become reason of his death, but being a Brahmin, he was very kind and generous. And so he taught him the military science. And Drishtadyumna was the one who arranged the military formations of the Pandavas. And that's why, like, this Duryodhan was taunting Guru that even though you were knowing, like, you trained him. So this was overall summary of the first three verses. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharing. It's nice. Anybody else? The song you memorized.
I already did by memory yesterday, so if somebody else wants to recite the Shri Guru Padma song.
I can recite from Govinda Damodar Stotram, few verses, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up. It's actually verse 50 something. Let me quickly pull that up. Do you want me to share Govinda Damodar Stotram from KK Songs? Or?
Yeah, or you can send me the link and you can paste the link and I can pull it up on here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Either way.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm going to do that. Yes, it's here. Sending you the link.
Okay. Just will share my screen. Yeah. Which verse will recite?
Oh, actually, Mataji has already sent you. You have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry. 1 second. So the verse number is, it's just few verses starting from 51. So this is actually praying to our tongue or requesting, really begging our tongue to keep singing the glories of Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. And so that even at the time of death, we will be doing this. Were you able to find it, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Swameva Yache. Okay,
Yeah,
I can start.
sharing the screen also.
Okay. Swameva Yache mam dehi jehve samagate dandadhare kritante vaktavyamevam madhuram subhaktya Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Does somebody should we read the translations afterwards?
Yeah, we can read after each verse we can read, but it will be inconvenient because it's not together. So you can just recite the verses and.
Okay.
Or if you want to explain.
Bhajasvamantram bhavabandhamukyai jihve rasagye sulabham manogyam द्वैपायनाद्यै मुनिभिः प्रजप्तं गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोपालवंशीधररूपसिन्धो लोकेश नारायण दीनबन्धो उच्चस्वरैस्त्वं वद सर्वदैव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति जिह्वे सदैव भज सुन्दराणि नामानि कृष्णस्य मनोहराणि समस्तभक्तार्ति विनाशनानि गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द गोविन्द हरे मुरारे गोविन्द गोविन्द मुकुन्द कृष्ण गोविन्द गोविन्द रथाङ्गपाणे गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति सुखावसाने तु इदमेव सारम् दुःखावसाने तु इदमेव गेयम् देहावसाने तु इदमेव जाप्यम् गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. Does anybody want to read the translation?
I can read. O my tongue, I ask only this, that upon my meeting the bearer of the scepter of chastisement, Yamaraj, you will utter this sweet phrase with great devotion. Govind Damodar Madhav. Should I continue or take turns?
Yes, or if somebody else wants to
Yeah,
read, we
it's
can
only
take
small.
turns.
It's, you just finish it. Just finish it. Maybe it's like easy.
O my tongue, O knower of rasa, For release from the hellish bondage of material existence, just worship the charming and easily obtained mantra that is chanted by Ved Vyas and other sages. Govind Damodar Madhav. You should always and everywhere loudly chant Gopal Vamshidhar, O ocean of beauty, Lord of the worlds, Narayan, O friend of the poor, Govind Damodar Madhav. O my tongue, always worship these beautiful enchanting names of Krishna, Govind, Damodar and Madhav, which destroy all the obstacles of the devotees. O Govind, Govinda Hare Murari, O Govinda, Govinda Mukunda Krishna, O Govinda, Govinda, O holder of the chariot wheel, O Govinda, O Damodar, O Madhav. Indeed, this is the essence found upon ceasing the affairs of mundane happiness. And this too is to be sung after the cessation of all sufferings. This alone is to be chanted at the time of death of one's material body. Govinda Damodar Madhav.
Thank you. Anything else? Anyone would like to say anything on this?
I memorized one verse, Vritrasura's prayers. Mama uttam shloka janeshu sakyam samsara chakre brahmatam karmabhi tvanmayatmajadara giheshva asakta chittasya nanatha bhuyat. So in this verse, Vritrasura is praying that, oh my Lord, my Master, because of my fruitive activities from past lives, samsara chakra, have been wandering in this material world. Therefore, I simply desire the association and friendship of your enlightened devotees, friendship with enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, children, wife, family has been continuing under the spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Therefore, I pray that my mind, my consciousness, and everything that I have be attached only to you.
Yeah, these last four verses are nice. The 6th chapter, 6th canto, 11th.
Yeah, they call Vitrasur Chatushloki. The 4 verses. Really beautiful.
Wandering throughout this material world.
So it's very interesting that he's asking that it doesn't matter, but I even when I'm wandering, that is, I am wandering because of my karma. But please give me the association of your devotees.
Let my attachment be for you alone.
This is similar also to Kunti Devi's verse, Tvai me ananya sakya, matir madhupate sakrit. Next. Let my mind be always be attached to you, just like how Ganges flows towards thee.
Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit. Prati mudvati adda gange. So spontaneously, if our consciousness flows to Krishna, that's the best. Without being diverted. He basically is saying, without being diverted to anybody else, let my consciousness just flow to you. Like the Ganges flows to the sea. Correct. Okay. Oh, we can also take, maybe we can do all the 4 verses also. Should we take anything else for tomorrow? Or well, everybody can do that.
We can take the 4 verses.
4 verses, okay.
We already memorized them.
Yeah,
so it's a repetition.
Okay, so 27 we will do for those who have not done, and then 26 or should we start from beginning?
24.
Aham hare tava padayaka mula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuya manasmaretasu pater gunanste krinita vakkarma karotu kaya. So let's look at the words. Aham hare tava pada ek mula. Aham, I, Hari, my Lord, tava, you, pada ek mula. Mula means the root, and mula is the feet here. No, pada is the feet. Eka means only one. So mula is like the shelter or the root, which is the shelter. So dasanudasa bhavitasmi bhuya. So servant of the servant, and I shall become bhavita asmi I. Bhuya again. Manas maretashu pater gunanste. My mind, mana, smareta, remember. Asupate, the Lord of my life. Asupate, the Lord of my life. Gunanste. Guna is the characteristics. Te, yours. Grinita vak karma. Grinita means chant. Vak means words. Karma is activities. Karutu. Kaya. So let's see. Oh my Lord. That is Hare. O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Where will I be again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants? Dasanudasa bhavitasmi bhuya. Again will I be able to become Dasanudas, who find shelter only at your lotus feet, who have Padeka Mula, whose only shelter is your lotus feet. O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes. So that is Guna. Smaretasu pater gunas. My words always glorify those attributes. So Vak, the words, and my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship. Okay, so this is like the Dasanudas verse. Prabhupada also says in the purport, should become servant of the servants of the Krishna and the pure devotees. So
like in Mukunda Mala Stotram, Tad Bhritya Bhritya Vicharaka Bhritya Bhritya Bhrityasya Bhritya Itimam Smaralokanata. So it's like 7 times removed, right? So as long as we are connected, and Dasanudas, Das. So.
okay. Yes, so this is the, and by becoming the servant of the servant, then we become dear to Krishna. And then Krishna, because we please Krishna, then Krishna may give his remembrance. Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, right? We have to remember Krishna always. So, after becoming the servant of the servant of the servant will result in Krishna being pleased with us. And when Krishna is pleased with us, he will give attraction, give some taste. Yeah.
So we say servant of the servant. Does that only apply to devotees or any other human entity?
Here it talks about those who are servants of Krishna. In this verse it talks about, but we are a servant generally. Servant means you serve others who are not devotees by giving them Krishna. So that is also service. You are doing service to others. How do you serve them? By giving them Krishna or by connecting them with Krishna, engaging in devotional service. Prabhupada said Guru means his servant of his disciples. The mentality of a Guru is that he is servant of his disciples because he has been entrusted with the task of training his disciples to. It's a service to his disciples to train them to become devoted to Krishna. So Guru also thinks like that.
So it wouldn't apply to your service to your boss in the office or anyone or your family.
Yeah, that's not service. I mean, that's a business. They are giving you money.
Well, at home then.
At
at home?
home, yeah, we can serve others and to connect them with Krishna, or thinking that they are part and parcel of Krishna. We try to, um, of course, everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. So whatever service we do to them is like, yeah, they are also everybody's servant of Krishna, but not just like fulfilling everybody's material desires is not service.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, then it is it is creating more entanglement in this material world. So let's say my family members are demanding sense gratification, and then I just fulfill those desires for sense gratification. I comply with them, then I can't say that. I mean, of course, you're like making them happy, but it's not connected with Krishna. So that's our desire to become independently happy of Krishna is what is causing us to suffer in this material existence. So, but if it is dovetailed with Krishna, then you can say it's service.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada often says that, just this tendency to serve, we are all, A is the master of, so A is the servant of B and B is the servant of C. So this thing that we see in the material world is just an indication that our constitutional position is that we are servants of Krishna. And also in that verse, Deha Patya Kalatradishu, he glosses all this as fallible soldiers. So all our family, our boss, our friends, our colleagues, we think that they are there, going to be there for us, but they are not. So I don't know how to expand on fallible, right? They're sure to fail. And because they are also subject to the conditions of material nature. So how can we rely on them?
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, somebody who is already like, yeah, cannot protect themselves, how can they protect others? So ultimately, Krishna is the protector that we say. But yeah, in family, if somebody is sick, we take care of them, and but ultimately, whatever Krishna, without sanction of Krishna, then nothing will work. So yeah, what you're saying is Dehapatya Kalatradeshu Atmasaineshu Satsvapi Tesham Prabhato Nidhanam Pashyanapi na Pashyati. Yeah, that's the words, right? Correct? Yeah, it says like that.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's the verse. That is that even though we know this and understand it, we see, but we don't see. Pashyanapi na pashyati. So.
Yeah, I mean, I so many people may have passed away in our family. We were not able to protect them. So how can somebody else protect me also in that sense? Yeah. So, but in family, if there is Krishna, then it's nice. It's everybody is Krishna's devotee. Then they can help each other remind of Krishna. So that's good. Otherwise, and materially also they can take care. Materially, body needs to be like sick or something, then they can take care. But to remind us of Krishna and like that. Okay, so we can read the verse. This verse gives the sum and substance of devotional life. One must first become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. That means we have to also, physical service is there, but we have to also accept the instructions, what they are telling us. We say Vapu, Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example, that a living entity should always desire to be a servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Partu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanudas. So we can still serve Srila Prabhupada. It's not like his Vapu is not there. Of course, the deity in the temple, Prabhupada is there in the temple, in the deity form. But we can also serve Srila Prabhupada by accepting what he says and complying with his instructions. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. Under his direction, one must then engage once three. Now, we may not even have a spiritual master, like we may not be, but we are doing devotional service. So, how we are doing? Through Srila Prabhupada's. So, ultimately, Shiksha is more important than Diksha. And so, Shiksha, we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are trying to mold our life according to Prabhupada's direction. So, under his direction, one must then engage one's three properties, namely his body, mind, and words. The body should be engaged in physical activity under the order of the master. The mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's word should be engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. So, body we can use not for sense gratification, but for self-realization. Like with body only we do so many services like book distribution and things like that, and cleaning the temple. So, body should be used in physical activity under the order of like Mandira Marjan, like that. Cooking. The mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's word should be engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. If one is thus engaged in the loving service of the Lord, one's life is successful. So, body, mind, and words all should be used for. Here is saying, my mind may always think of you, my words glorify your attributes, and my body engage in the loving service of your Lordship. BMW, right? You were saying BMW. Body, mind. Okay. Take this.
So here it's very much like he's paraphrasing Savaimana Krishna Pada Ravindeyor. So Ambarish Maharaj's example, where he engaged each of his senses in only serving Krishna, thinking of Krishna, doing everything in service of Krishna.
Yes. Okay. We'll take this verse for tomorrow. Aham harer tava padayeka mula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuya manas maritasu pater gunamste grinita vak karma karotu kaya. Okay, any other comments? Anybody else? So, you heard this quite a few times. Okay. What?
Should we read the 4 remaining prahars in Ashtakalya Lila?
Yeah. And share. You can share the screen.
Yes.
So just one question, Prabhuji. When you said we'll take this verse for tomorrow, I didn't quite understand what you meant by that.
So we have a spreadsheet of verses that we memorize. We memorized these 4 verses before. So we are kind of revising those that we memorized. I have forgotten, but
okay. So we will all memorize this verse for tomorrow.
Correct. I mean, that's
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I mean, if you want to be part, it's not necessary that you have to memorize as long as we understand the meaning but if you like to memorize the verses, then
yes, this is wonderful. Actually, this is really nice. Because this is something that I look forward to also to do this, and then not just memorizing, but really knowing the meaning, how to apply it.
Yes.
Mataji knows many verses, Prabhuji. She knows by heart all the verses. So she's very good in that.
We can see that, yes. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. So, Aparhan Leela Smaran, 3:36 to 6 p.m. Asakti. I remember Sri Radha, who returns home in the afternoon and prepares many sweets like Amrita Keli and Karpura Keli for her beloved Sri Krishna. Radha then bathes and dresses in beautiful clothes and ornaments. Seeing the lotus face of her beloved Krishna as he comes from the forest and enters the Goshala fills Radha with the greatest joy. I also remember Sri Krishna returning to Nandagram in the afternoon along with his cows and boyfriends. Krishna feels very satisfied to see the beautiful face of Radhika as he moves along the path. Krishna meets Nanda Maharaj and other elderly Vrajvasis. Afterwards, Mother Yashoda bathes and dresses Krishna in the finest clothes. O mind, remember this pastime in ecstasy. So this is the time when Krishna is returning home after the herding of the cows, and he passes in front of I think Radharani's house. So he glances at Radharani and all the gopis, and Radharani is busy cooking for Krishna the sweets, and she's also decorating herself so that when Krishna sees her, then he becomes satisfied. And then Krishna returns home, and then Mother Yashoda bathes and dresses Krishna. He also, yeah. Okay, anybody wants to read the next one?
I have a question about this. So yesterday we were reading Uddhava, right, entering Vrindavan, and he enters during this Godhuli time, right? This it's called Godhuli, right? In like local, isn't it called Godhuli time? This evening time when the cows return.
Yeah, they're raising the whole dust. The cows are dhuli.
Yeah. So I was wondering, even like growing up also, this read that the gopis actually were doing. I think they were also lighting lamps and all that and decorating and everything at that time. So is this tradition coming from Krishna's time when the gopis were waiting for Krishna to come back? Just a question, because for a lot of us, traditionally in our homes, this is what we grew up with. In the evening time, lamp is lit and everybody gathers around the altar and that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Not so much in the morning and in the, it's not like Trikal Sandhya, right? Like we don't observe that so much, but in the evening, everybody, that's like a ritual. It is something very special. So I was just wondering about it.
Yeah, in India, the remnants of Vedic culture are still there. So, yeah, so not.
Actually, lighting lamp in the evening or Godhuli, it is not related only from the Dapar Yuga. It is from the Rig Ved, before even Treta's time. This is because Gomata was considered as a mother of Lakshmi, Adrija. So, Godhuli. And also morning Arti also, as a Vaishnava, I think is very, very important. Brahma Muhurta and then doing Arti, not only evening. So 2 times Arti.
Yeah, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's mentioned that when Gopa Kumara goes to Golak Vrindavan, it's this time of the day, and it mentioned in the purport that when the jiva returns to the spiritual world, this is the time of the day that jiva enters, and then he sees Krishna coming with the cows, and the dust is risen in the sky. So it's mentioned that this is the time when jiva first enters the spiritual world.
Oh, so Godhuli is the time when any jiva enters the spiritual world?
That's what it's mentioned about the Gopa Kumara, and it mentioned about generally.
Thank you.
Somebody was saying something.
I was saying it's a little different one, but I heard something about that you all talking about the Godhuli time, that is when day ends and a night will gonna start. So somebody says that, I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody says that it's because of that Hiranyakashipu was dead on that time. Narsimha was killed at that time. So it is basically, it's not auspicious considered. So that's why we lit up the lamp and we get together and we do arti just to bring auspiciousness to this time.
Okay. And continue.
But meaning of the word is Godhuli, when cowherd comes back home from the grazing area and their dust is everywhere.
Like in Kashyap pastime, we read that in twilight time when Diti approached
Twilight,
Kashyap.
yeah.
That's not a very auspicious time, something, because Lord Shiva goes with something. right? Something was.
And Vishnu, Lord, chose that twilight time because Hiranyakashipu put a lot of condition, right? Not daytime, not nighttime, not evening. It has to be in between two times. That's why he chose.
Yes. Okay. Go to the next one.
Prabhu, you want to continue?
Okay, yeah. Shayan Leela, Smaran. So that represents Asakti before one. This is Smaran, 6 to 8:36 p.m. In the evening, Sri Radha sends the Sakhis to Nandagram with many exquisite sweets she made for Krishna. Later, the Sakhis return with Krishna's remnants, and Radha happily relishes them. Rajendra Nandan takes his bath at home and is then nicely dressed. Mother Yashoda lovingly attends to all his needs. Krishna walks to the Goshala, milks some cows, and returns home to eat his meal. I remember these pastimes with great affection. So whatever she has cooked in the daytime, she sends to Krishna in the evening time. And Krishna eats the remnants, and then Radharani gets the remnants. And meanwhile, Krishna also has been bathed by Yashoda and is dressed nicely. Then he goes to Goshala. Okay.
So he goes to Goshala twice. In the morning after he gets up, and in the evening when he returns.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Prabhu, anybody else wants to read?
I can read.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Prabhu, if you want to read.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So it's Pradosh Leela Smaran, Prilamba Prem. I remember Sri Radha in the late evening. She dresses in clothes suitable for the dark and light fortnight for the pleasure of Krishna. Radha wears sham-colored clothes on the new moon day and white clothes on the full moon day. Following Vrinda Devi's advice, Radha takes shelter in a secluded bower on the banks of Yamuna in the company of her Sakhi messenger. I also remember Krishna sitting in an assembly with his cowherd boys, enjoying the various feats of different performers. Krishna's affectionate mother Yashoda brings him home and tries to put him to sleep. Remembering the bliss of Radha's association, Krishna quietly sneaks out of his bedroom and leaves for the forest bower. I remember Radha Krishna engaged in this pastime. We heard that, like, we read before that there's something, in the night time when Krishna was sitting with his cowherd boys, and they were all performing different acts, and Krishna was completely engrossed, and even he don't want to come back to home, and Mother Yashoda call him even for the eating dinner also, right? Yeah, and then then Mother Yashoda, pull him to know it's time to go and eat and sleep. So
the ghost, is that the ghost pastime also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
What does she say? Ghost? For the ghost, what did she say? Yashoda. What does she say to Krishna? Some ghost is coming, you should come.
Yeah,
But
correct.
still
She wants to frighten. She uses different tactics to call Krishna. Yeah, sometimes she said that, oh, the other boys are looking nice. You also take bath and wear ornaments. Or sometimes she says, yeah, Nanda Baba is waiting for you. He would not eat. And it's your birthday today. Like that. And then she says, oh, ghost is coming.
And what convinces Krishna to come? Is there anything? Or he doesn't still come?
And Yashoda comes. Yeah. Holds on to his hand and drags him. So here it says Radha wears sham-colored clothes. But we have heard that Radha wears blue color or white color. No. Yeah, blue color. So yeah, so sham color is blue color.
Sham. Yeah, sham is blue, right?
Right.
And Krishna wears yellow.
Yeah, on full moon day she wears white clothes. Okay, so Krishna sneaks out of the bedroom as soon as Yashoda places him on the bed and leaves. Krishna sneaks out. Okay, next one.
I can read that. Ratri Leela Smaran, 10:48 p.m. until 3:36 a.m. Sambhoga Prem. Okay, so that's like one of the grades of Prem. Okay. I remember Radha Krishna who at night are anxious for each other's company. After the divine couple meet, Vrinda Devi serves them in various ways and they roam throughout the forest. Radha Krishna look very charming with their dearest Sakhis as they sing and dance in the Rasa Leela. Many affectionate Manjaris serve Radha Krishna when they become fatigued from their sportive activities. As the night ends, the divine couple drift off to sleep on a bed of fragrant flowers. Observing these pastimes, the Sakhis drown in an ocean of ecstasy. O mind, remember and worship with a desire to attain Radha Krishna's resting pastimes. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur concludes his confidential teachings on bhajan with this. One gradually attains perfection by always remembering the treasure of these eightfold daily pastimes, Ashtakala, while engaged in devotional service. That sadhaka who attains the stage of Swarupa Siddhi while practicing Gopi Bhav relishes these Ashtakala pastimes while residing in Braja manifested in the material world. After achieving Krishna's mercy, when he leaves his material body, such a devotee attains the service of Radha Krishna in the spiritual world. Oh brother, the holy name never loses potency either at the stage of practice or perfection. Therefore, chant the holy name and consider it your sole objective. Don't consider any other means of sadhana. Okay, so this is interesting. So at the end, the last activity of the day, well, yeah, there's nothing like last activity, but like for practical purposes, it's Radha and Krishna, they are desirous of meeting each other, and Vrinda Devi is always the orchestrator of their divine pastimes, and she arranges for them to like relish each other's company and enjoy. So they are like roaming around in the forests of Raja, and they engage in the Rasa Leela. One thing that I sort of like wanted to ask is this sentence where they become fatigued from their sportive activities. As the night ends, the divine couple drift off to sleep on a bed of fragrant flowers. Now, in Vrindavan, there is Seva Kunj, Nidhuvan. So these places are do the pastimes of drifting off to sleep. Do they end there, or could they be like any grove in the forest? Any thought on that?
I'm not sure. I mean, Nidhivan, they say rascal.
There is Kamyaban, where Radha and Krishna used to meet. So there are a lot of forest area that Krishna and Radha used to meet, and the Yamuna, and Nidhuvan is a Raslila place.
Nidhuvan is a Raslila place. Okay, because they say that there is a room there that is very beautifully decorated. There's a bed. There is like dressing table with mirror, and they say that in the morning, like at night, Thakurji and Radharani, they come and they have their pastimes there. And in the morning, you see the beetle leaf is like half chewed. I think they put like laddus that's half chewed. And there is like the datun that has been used. So yeah, I was just wondering, like if it's every night their pastimes end there.
That's why the priest there, the room is now built, recently built, not the Raslila time. Raslila, Krishna and Radha used to do, because Haridas Swami used to live there in the Nidhuvan area near Keshighat, a famous Vaishnava who was not only famous Vaishnava, but he was a famous singer also. And he used to sing only for Krishna and Radha. It says that he is an avatar of Lalita Sakhi. And he used to sing, and Krishna one day, he got in dream one deity of Krishna actually that is being installed in that area, the temple. And he appeared before Haridas Swami and expressed a desire that he wants to do Ras Leela with the music of Haridas Swami. So that's why Haridas Swami and Nidhuvan story started, and Ras Leela, it says that all the Brinda trees, that mean Tulsi, they're low height, low branch, they become a Sokhi Roop there. So, and Prabhuji said that millions of Sakhis used to participate in the Ras Leela every night.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't that Banke Bihari, Mataji? Banke Bihari?
Banke Bihari temple, yes.
The deity that you mentioned is Banke Bihari, right?
Banke Bihari, yeah, Tribhanga, yeah. That's Haridas Swami actually found it. Keshighat area, yeah.
So yeah, so this is this second last paragraph. I think this sort of helps us make some connection to, I mean, the question that I had yesterday, that what do these leelas have to do with the stages of devotional service? So it's that's touching on this, that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is prodding the sadhakas to relate their bhajan, their sadhana rather, with these leelas, the Ashtakali leelas at different times of the day, to, like, what I am understanding is to strengthen our resolve, to strengthen our determination to, ultimately attain the stage where we can also be part of this. I don't know if I'm overstating something here, but like that is, I think that's where he's going with this, that sadhaka can ultimately attain the stage of Swarup Siddhi, which is realizing their eternal form, by performing the sadhana, but in remembrance of these pastimes at different times of the day. So 24 hours are 24 hours are covered this way. So at the end of their life, by the Lord's mercy, one can then leave this material world with a very, very strong remembrance of Radha Krishna's pastimes, and then attain the spiritual world. So the sum and substance, the last paragraph, never lose that the holy name is our only means of deliverance, and that is something that one should not ever give up. And one should not consider that there is any other better substitute of sadhana than chanting the holy name. So I guess, that's pretty much it.
Yes. Anything else anyone would like to say? Thank you.
Prabhuji, you mentioned Smartavya Satatam Vishnu. Vismartavya Najatu Chit, right? So there, actually, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that this, and the verse says that this is the master of all other regulative principles. So, so basically, in Srila Prabhupada writes that, so this always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. So he writes there that this is only effected by attentive chanting of the holy name. So this is a foundation. So if you chant the holy name attentively, by that itself, by virtue of that, we can automatically remember Krishna all the time.
Yeah, this one also means always remember Krishna, means you do things that are favorable for Krishna consciousness. Anukula Sankalpa. Never forget Krishna means you don't do things that are pratikul to bhakti. Pratikula savarjanam. So remembering the instructions and applying them in our life is also smartavya satyashna. Smartavya.
Hmm. Nicely explained. Yeah. Sarve vidhi nishedh. Nishedh means prohibitions. And vidhi means rules to follow. Yeah.
So one question, Prabhuji, if I may ask, I know we are getting late for Bhagavatam, but just one last question. The timings that were mentioned for the different leelas, they are like so they're not rounded up timings like 10:36 to 3:27 like that. And I know there was no 3:27. So we know that time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. So what are those timings for? Like what? I don't know if there is a reason for it. That why are those timings like that? I mean, I guess like time, it could be any time, but just curious if there is a reason for that. The timing durations of each of the leelas.
So one ghadi, right, is called 48 minutes. It's not 60 minutes in Indian calculation. So like one ghadi or 1 hour, right? It's 48 minutes, right? Please correct me. I'm just saying something like I've heard something like this. So I think that's why those times are not rounded up the way you're mentioning. That it's not like to the hour. So the hour calculation, it may be a Western thing, and the way the prahar was calculated was based on the traditional Indian way. And I've heard this that one ghadi is 48 minutes. I hope I'm right about it, but that's what it is.
Okay. So yeah, it's maybe multiple of 48. I don't know if you take the whole time in.
Yeah, just did a quick search. It says like it's roughly equivalent to 24 minutes. Yeah, but it's anyways. Thank you, Mantaj.
Yes, sorry. It was 24. I kind of doubled it up. So yeah, maybe do ghadi is 48. Sorry. Yeah. So that's some vague memory of that. Correct. 24 minutes.
One murat maybe 48 minutes. What is one murat? Let me see.
Correct. One murat is 48 minutes.
Okay. What should we do next? So should we read Bhagavatam or Ramayana? You want to say anything from Ramayana?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
No, we can read Bhagavatam.
So let's see. Just 1 minute. Yeah, I think we are on 23. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Viditva Tava Chaitya.
We can't see your screen.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, because you were sharing, so I didn't unshare. Yeah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Viditva Tava Chaitya Me Puraiva Samayojitat Yadartham Atma Niyamais Tvaiva Vaham Samarchitaha. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind. So what was in Kardama Muni's mind? He wanted a wife. I have already arranged for that. I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline. So, Krishna is in everybody's heart. He knows what desires we have. Prabhupada says sometimes that in this life, he reminds us of our previous desires, our desires in our past life. This is what you wanted. We may have forgotten, but Krishna says, okay, this is what you were desiring. And he gives us that opportunity to fulfill that desire that you had in your previous life, which you could not fulfill now. It's another chance to fulfill those desires. So, okay, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature. So if we have desires which are not conducive for Krishna consciousness, we can also tell Paramatma, don't fulfill those desires. Please take away those desires. That also we can tell. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature is situated in everyone's heart. He knows, therefore, the past, present, and future of every individual person, as well as his desires, activities, and everything about him. Krishna is the whole, everything, all the thoughts that we had, everything he knows. And for all the living entities. Can you imagine how it is possible? So many thoughts come in our mind, but Krishna knows everything about all the individuals. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that is seated in the heart as a witness. Which verse is that?
Ishwar Sarvabhuta Arjuna Kristuti Brahmavayan Chamvayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudhani Maya.
Which other verse?
15,
Sarvasya chaham vidhi sanivishto muta smriti jnanam cha.
And there are others also that Krishna is saying, but yeah, these two are famous. The personality of Godhead knew the heart's desire of Kardama Muni, and he had already arranged for the fulfillment of his desires. He never disappoints a sincere devotee, regardless of what he wants, but he never allows anything which will be detrimental to the individual's devotional service. Or sometimes Prabhupada, I'm not trying to contradict Prabhupada, but he gives some lessons through some events in life also. So he wants ultimately, through everything, he wants the devotee to come closer to him. So, so he will arrange for some misery in life or something like that, through which we learn. And if we don't learn it, then again he arranges. Every life he arranges, right? I mean, every life he arranges so that ultimately we come to his shelter. But Krishna is so kind also that he fulfills the desires of his devotees. Any comments on that?
Yeah, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that if my devotee wants some material benefits, he's like asking me to give poison, but I am not foolish as him. So instead of poison, I'll give him nectar and give him the shelter of my lotus feet so he forgets the illusory material enjoyment. So, I mean, many things that we ask are not beneficial for us. It's like poison, but Krishna is like the mother. If a child asks for poison, the mother would not give.
Yeah, good point. Yes. That's why demigod worship is more like popular than Krishna worship sometimes, because demigods will give. Right? That's why.
Correct.
So I have a question here. So that the demigods, like Krishna says, right, in the Bhagavad Gita, that the demigods sanction only based on his sanction, right?
Correct.
He's the ultimate authority.
Correct.
So how is it that when we worship demigods, for like sometimes they fulfill, but from what you're saying, Krishna will not sanction. So how is it like? Is it like, or maybe it's like this, where he says, right, I strengthen your devotion to the demigod. So he kind of, does he really let go of us at that point, saying, okay, this is a gone case or something like that?
So demigods also want to feel that they are the giver of benediction. So they also have material desires, and they also want to feel like, yes, we are supplying. So they have been empowered by Krishna to grant what they want. Of course, it is Mayava vihitan hitan. Krishna says, yes, these are also coming through my arrangement, but that means they are empowered. Demigods have some independence to give because they want to also feel like, you give some, you do some service, people give charity and they feel, yes, I have done it, I am the one, I have helped so many people. So maybe demigods have that kind of mood also. They want to be worshipped. They are not free from material desire, so they want to be worshipped. They're attached to their position, like for instance Indra. So they may give that, and Krishna has empowered them to give. And because ultimately Krishna also wants to fulfill everybody's desire, because if he doesn't fulfill the desires, then it's like, there'll be a revolt. Uh, when we have a strong desire and somebody says no, you can't fulfill your desire, then it causes a lot of. So Krishna has created a system in which people can worship demigods and fulfill their desires. Like in Karma Kanda, if you want to worship, if you want good health, then you worship Surya Dev. If you want a beautiful wife, then you worship Lord Shiva. If you want a good husband, or if you want a good husband, then worship Lord Shiva. If you want a beautiful wife, you worship Parvati. So like that, there is different demigods for different desires. So it's Krishna's system only to fulfill. And the demigods also feel like they have some authority and they can give. So he's allowing them to, and the jivas also. But then he says they are less intelligent. They are those whose hearts have been stolen by material desires. They worship the demigods. Kames destarita jnana. Because Krishna may not fulfill their desire, but demigods will fulfill. So the other example is what of that child also. They say if the child, what is that
The
example?
Prabhupada says, right, when the child keeps playing with the fire, is that what you're referring to? The mother says don't. Then at some point, it's like the child has to learn by burning his fingers. Is that what you're referring to?
No, the other one, the
The
child.
child asked for cigarette
Yeah.
in the cigarette shop. If the person is intelligent, he would say, no, you're too young, I can't give you that. But if he's to make his profit, he would give it. And the demigods are like that. Like they would not consider whether this thing is good for that person or not. They would give it.
Yeah, a child goes with 100 rupee note and says, give me one pack of cigarette, whatever it costs, if he has the money. And then the person also is like wanting to make profit. Yeah, the way you put it, yeah. He also wants money, adoration, and whatever distinction. So says, okay, you take it. And sometimes they say they are obliged to give also because they have fulfilled the requirements. So it doesn't matter who is asking for it. They have fulfilled the requirements. So now they're obliged to give. That's how also they say. I don't know. But does Brahma not know that Hiranyakashipu is asking these benedictions? He's going to create havoc.
He knew it actually. The demigods knew that Hiranyakashipu wanted to replace Brahma. Wanted to become greater than Brahma and change all the rules of the material world. Still, Brahma gave those benedictions. And Shiva giving benedictions to Vrikasur also.
Yeah, they know, but then
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the example of cigarette, this is also written on the pack of cigarette that smoking is injurious for health, but still it's going on. So maybe I'm just relating it. Maybe they knows that, or maybe it's all because of arrangement of Lord Krishna. Because how they, like in case of Hiranyakashipu, they have to deliver by the Lord. They have to killed by the Lord. So unless if they are not granting that that boon, so how will they come on that point when
yeah,
Krishna
one is
claims
one is lila perspective. If this didn't happen, then how the lila will go on? The desire of the Lord to fight, and if Hiranyakashipu didn't become powerful, that's the lila perspective. Then it will not happen. That's why sometimes it's confusing. Like then at the end, Narsinghadev says, Brahma, don't give such boons. But then if Lord had a desire to fight and Hiranyakashipu didn't become powerful, then how can the Lord fight with him? So all this, if you tie everything together, it's sometimes logically it becomes a little difficult to understand.
With the Hiranyakashipu's this pastime, Nrsingadev's pastime, there is also another lesson that can be drawn out of it, is that whatever someone may do to achieve, intelligently, I think this Prabhupada mentions that intelligently he thought he was very smart and he could outdo the creator. And so he put so many clauses into his condition. So he thought that he was covered. But the Lord is, of course, always 10 steps ahead. And that should be like a lesson to draw, that, however much we may think that we can, well, we are not thinking like that, but one can, through their intelligence, bypass the laws of the Lord. It's not going to happen. Ultimately, the Lord's desire will only prevail. So, I mean, that's one lesson that can be drawn from that sort of pastime.
Yep, correct. Yeah, you can't outsmart the Lord. He's always smarter than you. So, Nrsingadev killed him despite all the boons. So, okay. Should we? Yeah, we can read one more. The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you, who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. Even if he has some desires, one engaged in the service of the Lord is never frustrated. Those engaged in his service are called sakama and akama. Those who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead with desires for material enjoyment are called sakama, and those devotees who have no material desires for sense gratification but serve the Supreme Lord out of spontaneous love for him are called akama. Sakama devotees are divided into 4 classes: those in distress, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise. Which verse is this? Those in distress, those in...
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन अर्थो जिज्ञासु अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ.
4 kinds of people come to me. Someone worships the Lord because of bodily or mental distress. Someone else worships the Supreme Lord because he is in need of money. Someone else worships the Lord out of inquisitiveness to know him as he is. And someone wants to know the Lord as a philosopher can know him, but by the research work of his wisdom. There is no frustration for any of these 4 classes of men. Each is endowed with the desired result of his worship. Sometimes Prabhupada says yes, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita says no, Krishna may not give. If he wants all these things, if he wants wealth, Krishna may not give. So, or he may give and then he may remove the material desire, like Dhruva Maharaj. So, different scenarios are there. Here Prabhupada is saying, yes, even that's why they say, okay, if you have material desires, also worship the Lord. Akama, sarva kama, va moksha kama. So, Krishna may remove your material desire, he may give you what you want, but you may not be no longer inclined to enjoy it. Because the inclination, like it happened with Dhruva Maharaj, right? He was burning with this desire. What is the verse? He says, I don't want anything.
Swami Kritosman.
Correct.
Bilashi.
स्थानाभिलाषी तपसी स्थितोऽहं त्वत् प्राप्तवान् देवमुनीन्द्र गुह्यम्. काचन विचिन्वनपि दिव्यरत्नं स्वामिन् कृतार्थो अस्मि वरं न याचे.
I was looking for glass, kach, but I got diamond and ratna, jewel, like that. I don't have any desire. Even in Damodar Ashtakam, the pure devotees, they say like that. But we have to be where we are at. And of course, knowing the ideal, what it is, and strive for the ideal, actually. Even if your material...
In Kevalashtakam also it says, right? Kachartam Vismrutam Ratna. So we have gone after glass and we have forgotten the real gem, which is the holy name.
Yeah, they think it is a mere piece of glass. The holy name is a mere piece. Kachartham Vismrita Ratnam. What is the first line? How does it say? We memorize Kevalashtakam also.
Correct.
Forget.
It's a 6, yeah. So, Aho Dukham.
Aho Dukham Mahadukham
Dukha
Dukhataram Yataha. Kachartam Vismruta Ratnam Harer Namaiva Keval.
Oh, so what sorrow, Dukham, Mahadukham. Then, what is the next?
Dukha Duktaram Yataha.
Dukha Duktaram Yataha. Yes.
Kachartham Vismritam Ratnam. Hare Namaiva Keval.
They have forgotten Vismritam, the jewel. And yes, so they think it is some class. So, holy name is like, yes, we read in Ashtakali Leela, that how this is. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says also that holy name is the one. Nama bina kichu nahi ko aro.
Chauda Bhuvan Maji. And it compares this thing to the glass, because the glass and the diamond, broken piece of glass and diamond, they look like same from far. They are all sparkling, so we are attracted to them. But if we pick up the broken piece of glass in our hands, then our hand can get hurt. Blood can come out. So that's what happens with material things. Yehi samsparsha jaboga dukkhayo nayavate. It actually causes bleeding and pain, suffering. And it's it's also, there is no value to glass, and of course diamond is invaluable.
Yeah, it makes us bleed with this material body and gets us suffering, so much suffering. It looks very attractive, like the moth is attracted to the fire and looks very attractive, but what happens, it burns itself up in the fire. So all that glitters is not gold, we say like that. It is glittering, everything is kaach is also glittering, but it's not diamond. So that's how the attractive feature of this illusory energy captivates us, and we think I'm going to get some very happy situation, but it doesn't. So or for some time you may get a happy situation, but then it all falls apart. So there are 3 possibilities, right? With material desires, 3 possibilities that can happen.
Right. You get it, but you understand that this is not what I really wanted. Then you get it, but it's temporary. It's taken away from you. And third one is
you don't get it.
You don't get it.
So if we exhaustively analyze that you have some material desire, it may not be fulfilled. Then it results in frustration because you don't get what you're getting, so you're frustrated. Second is you get it, what you want, but then you realize it's not exactly like how I intended it to be or how I thought it was. And sometimes it is even the opposite of what you thought it was. So that's the second possibility. That also results in frustration. And you get it. The third is the nice possibility. You get it, you like it, it's very good, but it is going to be taken away. At some point, it's temporary, everything. That's why Krishna says, asashvatam. Even if you think it is a sukhalayam, it is asashvatam, it's temporary. It'll be taken away. So then when it's taken away, then you'll be frustrated. So every possibility results in frustration at the end. So, like that.
There was this research, I think there was a research that any material possession or object that seems very exciting could be a phone, could be a car, can sustain your interest, like your heightened interest in that object for at the max 12 weeks, and after that it is going to deteriorate. So it cannot keep you excited about something for forever. At the
Yeah.
most, they say 12 weeks.
But you want to be excited forever, so you have to get some other thing. Then after the phone, you have to get a car, and after car, you have to get something else, right? Correct. So you have to keep.
Keeps
You
going on.
Yeah, you want to be, so one thing after another, it leads to. Yeah, it's true. 12 weeks. Yeah, when you get new car, you're very excited. It's new car like Tesla and whatever you got. You have a Tesla. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that yeah, you got some latest car with innovation and everything, and then after 12 weeks, did your interest die in Tesla car? Or
Again, it's a matter of convenience now. I I like it. It's that okay. It's good in many ways. So yeah, but it's not like it's not the same feeling that I had the first. I can't say 12, maybe like first 1 month when we got the car.
yeah, it's everything with in life, yeah, marriage or anything. It's it's not the same excitement that you have when you you were getting it first time. So then afterwards, it's just not the same. Okay. Because yeah, and Prabhupada had that poster, "Stay high forever." So in in drugs you can get some excitement for some time, then it dies down. Then yeah, in material life it's like that. Never feel satisfied because soul, you're not addressing the soul, just the body's. And sometimes it's an idea. You feel like, well, if I get this, it'll be nice. If I get that, it'll be nice. Some idea that if I make more money and I'll have more things and many houses and so on. It's an idea. It's just sometimes, of course, you get more money, but then still you are not fulfilled inside. So, like that, it happens. Okay. We can read something else, or should we continue, or should we read the lessons, Ramayana, or should we do Ram Navami is coming up?
It's up
So.
to you, Prabhu. Yeah. In read Ramayana, or we were reading Uddhav from Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam?
Uddhav is it?
Uddhav. Okay, we can read Uddhav. Or lessons from Ramayana also is there, right? That book.
Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's, yes, on Kindle.
Let's read some.
Yes.
Open this. We should have finished all the book. I mean, we were running and then left it. Lessons from Ramayana. Where is the book?
You just type in Ramayana in the search.
Search. Okay, let's see. Search collection. I think I bought the book. No results found.
It's called Wisdom from Ramayana.
Ramayana.
If you show your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
Is
search
this available
box.
on Kindle?
Huh? No results found.
No, up. The
Oh,
top
here.
one, yeah.
Okay, let's go on this website.
Yeah, correct. The second one. Yeah.
Okay. So it opens at this, so maybe it's Shabri. Should we read Shabri?
You can.
You read the whole book, right? So if you want to just summarize also, that's fine.
No, bro, we can read.
Okay. Shabri is pastime, which is not in the Ramayana, actually.
Valmiki, not in the Valmiki Ramayana.
Valmiki Ramayana is not there, but it's a very famous pastime. So,
No, actually, it's there in Valmiki Ramayana, but that part where Shabri eats the fruit before offering to Ram, that's not there.
oh, okay. So, Jhuta board.
Sure.
That is the whole
Correct.
crux of the pastime is that. Yeah,
Correct.
it's not there. Okay. So let's see what we can learn. I can read. Is it okay if I read?
Yes.
Basically, it means the intent of a gift matters more than its content. So we know Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He doesn't look at the externals, but he looks more at the what intention. It is not the uh, thing that counts, but it is
The Bhavagrahi Janardhan.
it's the thought that counts, like we say in our. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This saying originates from the traditional practice of determining a horse's age. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This saying originates from the traditional practice of determining a horse's age and thereby its value by looking at its teeth. The saying implies that we shouldn't be ungrateful for a gift or find faults with it. One way we might fault a gift is by evaluating it solely in monetary terms and minimizing if it isn't expensive enough. So in materialistic consciousness, we evaluate, okay, he has given me a gift, how much, what worth it, what is the value of it, how much. When we are in materialistic consciousness, we look at the gift and analyze it in terms of the money that it is, how expensive it is. And in spiritual consciousness, yeah, if Prabhupada gave you a flower, even a flower was like very valuable because it was given by Prabhupada with love. Such restraint is necessary because of not just courtesy but also sensitivity. Different people express their affection by giving gifts in terms that they value. If we don't understand the value of what they value, we may neglect or even reject their gift. So the person who is giving a gift, for him it's very valuable. So if we don't value what they value, then we are like, we may not, we not being affectionate to that person. Of course, sometimes people give the cheapest thing because they don't want to give any expensive thing. They give the cheapest thing. Suppose someone offers us an art masterpiece, like some sannyasi comes to beg charity, then some people may give the rice which is not good quality, and then anyway we have to give something, so give something that is not good quality and get over it, and the sannyasi will go away, he'll not bother us. So sometimes for the sake of giving, we may give the not such nice things. Suppose someone offers us an art masterpiece that is worth millions. If we don't have an eye for art, we may think of it as just good looking painting and put it aside. But an expert would tell us the gift's value. Even in this example, the value, though not discernible to the untrained eye, is still measurable financially. But what if the value transcends the financial dimension? What if it expresses the heart's deep affection that is beyond monetary valuation? To appreciate such gifts, we need to expand our conceptions of valuation. The Ramayana describes two incidents that depict Ram's sensitivity when offered gifts that would normally not have been valued as much as it had it been some other ruler of his position in an illustrious ruling dynasty. So Ram valued two gifts, two pastimes, he's saying. Even though somebody else would not have valued it, but Lord Ram valued it very much. The first incident occurred soon after Ram was exiled. While he was on his way to a forest, a devout fisherman offered him some fish. Ram, being a Scion in the cultured Raghu family, didn't partake meat, yet he didn't brush off the offering. Why? Because though he had no taste for fish, he could taste the love of the giver of fish. Maybe that person is in ignorance, but he wants to do good. Some people, even some professedly pious people, see interactions as a way of scoring brownie points in a morality contest. Whenever they see someone doing something that they consider wrong, they become derisive or dismissive towards them. By such conduct, they not only alienate others materially, they also impede others' spiritual growth and their own spiritual growth too. Of course, something is not right, then if you are in a position as a father, then you have to tell mother, you have to tell that this is not right, you are eating fish. By accepting that none of us, but you have to also see the intention. Somebody is offering you some tea. Let's say you go to somebody's home and they say, can we make tea for you? And you may say, well, tea, we don't drink tea, and this person is offering me tea. This is not good. But they are offering, they don't know that tea is good or not. But they are offering out of their, love. So we may think that, yeah, this person is. But we should see their intention. They are in ignorance. They don't know that. But they are offering me in a good way. Like, sometimes you go to Costco and they are cooking some sample with some non-veg or something like that. They say, would you like to taste, sir? Would you like to taste, sir? It's that person maybe want to, of course, they also want to do business in that scenario, so they want to. But yeah, we should not take, but say, yeah, this person has good heart, but he's in ignorance, he doesn't know. By accepting that none of us are ever morally perfect, we all have our follies and foibles, struggles and secrets, we can avoid the judgmentality that leads to insensitivity. Contaminated berry, pure heart. Later, when Ram was searching for Sita, who had been abducted, so first thing is when the fishermen offered fish to Ram, Ram did not take it. But of course, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatri Vidim Vina Ekantaki Harir Bhakti Utpate Vakalpate. It is also that worship of Hari which neglects the Pancharatri Vidhi and the rules and according to one's own. That doesn't mean I just go and offer some chicken to my deities and I say, oh, it's Krishna is seeing only the love in my heart and I like chicken and he will also like chicken, so I will just offer chicken to Krishna. Or something with onion and garlic, you offer it to Krishna. And so that is also another, we have to know what are the principles, and then that's according to that we do. But the Lord may accept if we are in ignorance. But we are supposed to educate ourselves. Ignorance is no excuse, right? We say, if I don't know the traffic laws and I drive my car on the road, a cop is not going to say, oh, you don't know the laws? Okay, I will not give you a ticket. You are supposed to know. When you are driving on the road, you are supposed to know the laws. Of course, you don't get a license without passing the test, but without license, if you start driving, then without knowing the laws, then you are responsible. So you can't say like that. Sometimes they say, yeah, in ignorance it can be excused. But Prabhupada also gives the analogy that, if you put your hand in, child will put hand in the fire. The fire will not think, oh, the child is ignorant, so I will not burn. You still get burned. So, yeah, it is our responsibility to know what the laws are and what is how when we embark on this journey in human life. We are supposed to educate ourselves, and otherwise we'll get into trouble. Like many people are eating meat here, right? And they don't know that that it's sinful. But that doesn't prevent them from getting the karma. So that is also there. And sometimes we know and we can't prevent. So that is also there. And of course we are not perfect. But we ought to understand. And so later when Ram was searching for Sita, now we may think that, well, is the Lord just all about rules and regulations and he doesn't have a heart? No, he has a heart also. That's why he's willing to forgive also. Yes, that's why the Lord is so kind. He forgives also. He is most forgiving, Karuna Sindhu. So, but that doesn't mean we take advantage of his forgiveness. And we just, we think all the time that, yeah, the Lord will forgive me. And then I just have no repentance and no desire to improve. That is also not. So later, when Ram was searching for Sita, who had been abducted by the demon king Ravana, he came to the hermitage of Matanga Rishi. There he met the sage's female ascetic disciple Shabari. She had been waiting for many years to serve Ram. When her guru had departed from this world, he had taken most of his disciples with him. But she had asked Shabari to stay on, assuring her that she was meant to do a special service to the Lord when he would descend to this world. Now, when she beheld Ram coming to her abode through the forest, she realized that her dream had come true. Waiting after so many days, Lord Ram has finally arrived. She had dreamt that whenever Ram would appear, she would offer him the best berries growing in the nearby forest. But she faced a practical problem. How was she to know which berries were good and which weren't? By looking at them, especially their color, she could infer which were raw and which ripe. But she couldn't accurately infer how sweet they were. Like with fruit, it's always like that. Oranges sometimes are sweet and sometimes they're not sweet. And you can't make out looking just at the orange. So she had a dilemma. Having no taster other than herself, no taster than other, readily at hand, she had made a practice of tasting the berries herself. She would take a small bite from the corner of a berry. However, given the berry's small size, a small bite would amount to a significant portion of the berry. So berries are small, and if you take a bite, it reduces the size. It's already small. And if you take a bite, on tasting that bite, she would cast aside the berries that were not sweet enough and preserve carefully the sweet ones. She had followed this routine day after day, month after month, year after year, longing for the day when the Lord of her heart would appear before her eyes. So every day she was collecting berries. Is that what it is? Yeah. And she was trying to. Yeah.
She would prepare every day that today Lord Ram would come.
We heard that she would decorate her tent, but she would every day taste the berries and throw away, right? That also was part of the preparation.
Correct.
So in Tulsi Ramayana, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Manji.
So in Tulsi Ramayana, it's stated that when Matanga Rishi left, right, the planet, so she was like really, when he was leaving, she was like, really suffering from like how am I going to live without my guru? So he says to her that Ram will come. Definitely he'll come. I think it was like 10,000 years or something like that. I can't remember. So, but he said he will come. So she had so much faith in the words of her guru that he will come. So she would, like, then every day she would think, today's the day, and she would prepare every day. She would sweep and clean and decorate and collect berries.
Thank you. Yes. And somebody else wanted to say something.
I was saying the same thing the Mataji was said.
Like Prabhupada said, if you chant Hare Krishna, one day you will see Krishna face to face. So we are chanting, we are not seeing Krishna face to face, but we should have faith that if we follow the process, then one day we will actually see, because Prabhupada has said it, our Guru has said it. So we will see Krishna face to face.
Prabhuji, so this Matanda Rishi's hermitage was in Dandakaranya, right?
Yeah, he was. I don't know where exactly. It's not. I'm not very good at the places.
It says Pampa Sarovar. Pampa Sarovar. I don't know if it is like in Andhra Pradesh, that area now.
Dandakaranya is in between Madhya Pradesh and Andhra, that area. Definitely.
Okay.
And Sabri was Guhak's, the Ram's friend, a hunter friend who helped Lord Rama to live in that forest peacefully. His daughter?
No.
Yeah. What happened? Why Shabri left? You want to tell?
Yeah, I think it was her day of marriage, and she was getting married to, or her parents were cooking meat for the marriage, and she didn't like that.
Yeah, there were so many animals to be sacrificed for her marriage, and she didn't even. She was feeling very compassionate, and then she left, And then what happened? She went to
the forest.
many gurus, many ashrams,
Yeah,
and she was a
correct.
tribal lady. So
Nobody accepted her because she was Shudra class.
Until Matanga Rishi accepted her. She was Nishad or something like that, some tribe like that. So everybody was thinking this is a low class woman. We don't allow her.
Yeah, Nishads are basically hunters.
So, but Guha was a devotee of. Doesn't mention Guha.
Yeah, he was a friend of. He helped Lord Ram a lot. Nishad communities caste is basically hunter caste.
So, anyhow, so she came to Matanga Rishi, and then, as we read, also after Matanga Rishi's departure, she wanted to go with Matanga Rishi. Matanga Rishi said, "No, no, you stay here." Right?
And all his disciples also were going.
Correct.
So only she was left in the ashram.
But
And she was thinking, oh, I am very, disqualified, unfortunate. But yeah, the words of the spiritual master.
Did
So
Matanga
she
Rishi
took
tell
by
her
faith.
Matanga Rishi tell her that Ram will come one day?
Yeah. Ram will come in the ashram, so keep the ashram clean.
Okay. So, faith in the words of the Guru.
It's like the Guru Mukha Padma Vakya.
Right. So, like Prabhupada says, like, if you chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles, you'll go back to body.
Also, she was very patient because it took her many, many years for Ram to come. So, utsaha nischaya dharyat. We have to be patient to see any results of our daily sadhana. So we have to do the daily sadhana like she was preparing the ashram daily, cleaning the ashram. Lord Ram will come today. In the same way, we have to do our sadhana daily, chanting our 16 rounds, doing deity worship and all, reading Bhagavatam. So, and being patient. And one day, Krishna will reveal himself to us.
Thank you. Yeah. She's a good example of utsaha, nishya, confidence in the words. Dairiyat also. And she had utsaha also because she was every day decorating. Even though so many days Ram didn't come, she was not thinking, she didn't lose her enthusiasm. She was just anticipating. One day. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And now that momentous day had come, when Ram came before her, her joy knew no bounds. Offering Ram and his brother Lakshmana a seat, she proceeded to offer them the best of her berries. To parse the berries, she followed her standard procedure of biting them and then offered the sweet ones to Ram and Lakshmana. So on the spot she was doing also while they were there. So that's why I was thinking that before she did it on the spot, so maybe every day she had already kept it aside, or maybe she was ready to do that when Ram and Lakshman would come. Lakshman was taken aback. In Orthodox Brahminical societies, food touched by someone else's mouth is considered contaminated. So we don't eat juta of anybody unless that person is great soul. The only exception to this rule were spiritually exalted souls whose remnants were considered sanctified. And the opportunity to take that food was considered a special blessing. Shabari belonged to a tribal community that was by no means considered high class. So the food touched by her mouth would be conventionally deemed contaminated. Like, who's Ramanujacharya's wife? Raksha? What is her name? Ramanujacharya's wife.
Yeah, Rakshambal, yeah.
She also said, like, this Shudra, was it Mahapurna's remnants?
Mahapurna's remnants, right? She threw away.
Because he was not born in higher caste, so she threw it away. And then I think the water from somebody's they touched. She had to throw the water also, something like that. So, correct?
Yeah,
They
maybe.
were drawing the water in the well, and then some.
Oh yeah. The Mahapurna's wife, her water went into her pot, and she was, fighting for it. Yeah.
So, so she had. I mean, generally that's how people caste system and all this. They think like that. So Ram too saw what Lakshman saw, but he saw more. He saw beyond the contaminated berry to the pure heart that was offering it. Appreciating Shabri's pure intention to offer him the best berries, he accepted and ate them. He savored not just the berry's sweetness but also Shabri's devotion. This act of Ram was radical when considered in the light of prevailing emphasis on ritual purity. If a person in an exalted social position ate food cooked by people with a contaminated consciousness, such eating was considered a serious lapse in that person's purity. Traveling mendicants would sometimes prefer to stay hungry than eat contaminated food. Today we find such standards extreme, but we can appreciate them better if we see beyond the specific practices to their essential purpose. That purpose was to protect from contamination the consciousness of those who had centered their life on purifying their consciousness. So that's why we don't eat in the restaurants, and I mean they are not eating there, the cooks, and maybe not eating, but we don't also know. But their consciousness is contaminating, when we eat in the restaurants, and we don't know what's going behind how they are leading their life, and so this was the purpose that when you accept the remnants or the food cooked by somebody, then the consciousness is mixed in it, and so to protect our consciousness, we have to avoid eating food or from contaminated. That's why this principle was there. Ram demonstrates that we shouldn't let considerations of ritual purity come in the way of our loving reciprocations, especially when those reciprocations can help people rise to higher consciousness from wherever they are presently. So Prabhupada would appreciate service even from anybody. So, because it will help them to rise to the higher consciousness, Prabhupada would fan the spark, even for an insignificant service done. Whenever people offer us something, they are in their own way offering us their affection. Through their language, they are opening a door to their heart. Depending on how we reciprocate with their invitation, they will decide whether to further open the door of their heart or shut it. Language here doesn't refer to the verbal tool for communication, but to the psychological disposition that shapes how we look at things, what we see in this world, and how we make sense of what we see. Even if two people are speaking the same verbal language, they may be speaking in a very different languages, as if they have different orientations. Say if one of them is more emotional than rational, and another is more rational than emotional. This understanding of different conceptual languages is seconded by modern psychology. Books about different psychological natures of men and women, or about different personality types, stress that we can't truly understand others unless we get their language. So there is a principle of empathy in preaching is to understand another person's needs, like devotee care, they were saying all these things, so that we can actually give them the Krishna in the teachings in which the way they can appreciate it. But of course, we have to give Krishna ultimately. That's the only solution, as we know. Sometimes, it's just being kind to the person can make them more receptive to what you have to say. So, that's also there, because just showing some empathy and showing some, that's also opens their heart to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, Prabhuji, as you were saying that, and I was thinking about that, Shabri was who offered, she's not she's in low caste, right, as per Varna. So but she offered eaten berries to Lord Ram. And if you look at the Ramayana, many times Lord Ram has given importance to those. So it's not about Varna or ashram or age or gender
or anyone like demigods or demons. Spiritual advancement who depends on who has love, who has devotion, who has self-realization. So that's why you have seen that if you look at the examples in Bhagavatam, like, it's not depend on our external factors. It thinks that, as per we say that as per Varna, renunciate is higher than even the kings also. Even I'll see that the kings were respecting all the sages, like the renunciates. But we see look at the life of a Bhishma. He is much higher. He lives, he in the kingdom. He lives in the kingdom. He took a vow to never get married. But but he's eligible to give lessons. Even that's why Yudhishthira Maharaj has took the lessons from him as well. And if you look at the age, in terms of age, we think it is like mentioned that the older is more wiser than the younger ones. But we have examples of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and even the Chitraketu's son, who came after death and teach his own father. In terms of Varna, we say that like Brahmanas is higher than other Varnas. But in Naimisharanya, like Sutta Goswami, he came, and all these the great sages offered him and he set him in the Vyasasana, and he is like, and all hears from him. So, and even in the demons and demigods, we generally say that demigods is higher than demons, but Vritsasur is an example that is higher than. So it's not about that, gender, and even in the gender also, I just remind that the wives of the proud Vedic ritual Brahmanas, that he was busy in that their ritualistic things, but the Brahmanas' wives have love for Krishna, and he gave food. And even Krishna and Balram were standing on their door, but and asking for the food, but they had chance to please Lord, but they are busy in doing some ritualistic things, Vedic ritualistic. But the Brahmana's wife have love in their heart, and Nag Patni also. So it's not about that Varna and gender, and the Lord's appearance, even in Krishna avatar or in Rama avatar, it shows that. So highest is your love in your heart for the Lord, your devotional service, your determination, your faith, that all counts.
Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyashi. What is that verse? Kiba Vipra.
Shudra Keranai, Jai Krishna Tattva Veti Sai Guru Hai.
And then we have that verse from Padyavali. Where was this?
There was Hunter Dharma's piety, Dhruva's maturity, Gajendra's knowledge, Kubja's beauty, Sudama's wealth, Vidura's noble birth, and Ugrasen's strength. Lord Madhav is pleased only by devotional service, not by any material qualifications.
And then we have words from Prahlad Maharaj also.
Mane Ghana Bhajana Rupa Tapashruta.
Yeah.
Also, Vidura's wife also offered Krishna, right, the banana peels, and threw away the banana pulp, and Krishna was eating the peels.
Yes. So, yeah, it's banana peel you can't offer to Krishna. But they are all pure devotees, so she was so absorbed in Krishna. They're all pure devotees. So it is the heart's, freedom from material desires and attraction to Krishna. That's what attracts Krishna. Even if you have material desires, but you have love for Krishna, then Krishna will be attracted. But he loves his pure devotees because they have given up everything for like gopis. They have given up everything to. So, Krishna, yeah.
So here, one thing is there to consider, right? I'm just wondering, there are, like Shabri offered like half-eaten bear, like the berries, and somebody with nothing can offer, like the rat, right, who entered the altar, and his mustache, his whiskers burned, and he had dipped his whiskers in ghee, and then it burned, and so that was like shown as an offering of the ghee lamp to Lord Damodar. But for us, when we have all facilities, so shouldn't we be doing the best for Krishna? Because we have it. It's not that we are calculating in terms of material opulence, but when we are blessed with it, we should do according to our what do you call that, adhikar, right? How much ever we can do.
Yeah, it's not like I have millions of dollars and I give only $10 to Krishna.
Yeah.
Then it's like, yeah, you're keeping all the things. So, but if you have $10 and you give $5 to Krishna, then Krishna says, oh, he's very surrendered. Although in terms of calculation, he gave less because he gave 50%. He had only $10, he gave $5. And the person who had $1,000,000 gave $10. So how much he's withholding, that also Krishna. I mean, not in just terms of money, but so many other things also. So when we can do much more and then we are just doing little, Krishna has given us the facility to do much more, and the good body, healthy body, and energy and everything, and time and everything, and then we are doing only little. Then it's like, yeah. But Krishna appreciates that also. But we should do more if Krishna has given us the facility.
Yeah, the point is that it should not lead to niyamagraha, which means doing all the things externally, following the rules and regulations, but losing the essence.
Correct.
Like that bhav should be there. Like deity worship, I think, can be very elaborate. But doing that elaborated stuff, but losing, the prayers and the bhav, well, that will not result in much. Maybe you can lower the standard of deity worship, but do it with more bhav, that'd be okay, because there's different standards of doing things also. I mean, there's no limit.
Yeah. And attention to detail is also a sign of love. Prabhupada said like that. So if somebody is coming to your home, then you want to make sure everything is good, clean. You take care of every small thing, right? Then, supposing Guru Maharaj is coming to your home, then you would like to clean everything. The bed sheet is clean, the bathroom is clean, everything that he's going to use, the towel that you're going to give. So you put a jug of water there, so every need you think about carefully, right? So you're thinking about, like when they dress Krishna, right? What the gopis, they dress Krishna there. Yashoda says, right, that you're taking a long time. Yashoda says, a long time in decorating Krishna.
The gopis are dressing up Krishna. Mm-hmm.
It is in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Yashoda says. Yes, and yeah, we should not get caught in the rules and regulations. And if it is like too much rules, then we can just forget the spirit. Also, deity worship has so many rules. Yeah. So, correct. Prabhupada said one time, if I tell you all the rules, you'll faint. So, when we stretch ourselves, that is, expand our conceptual frameworks to learn others' language, a whole new world will open in our relationship with them. We'll get to know them much better. Spirituality more important than morality and purity. We'll just read this one. Such expansion of our conceptual framework is essential for appreciating spirituality, especially devotional spirituality. When we approach God, He sees the language of our heart is speaking. In one of the most endearing verses of the Bhagavad Gita, He declares that He accepts a fruit, flower, or leaf, even little water if it is offered with devotion. Which verse is this?
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yobe maktya prachiti tadam bhakti upayatamashami pratatmana.
The Lord who is fully satisfied. The one you were saying is about the Yagnik Brahmanas. They were too much concerned with rules and regulations, right? And they forgot that. So
Essence was to please Krishna.
Correct. That's the niyam. Niyam?
Agraha.
Agraha. Yes. So, the Lord who is fully self-satisfied becomes hungry for our offering when we infuse it with devotional intent. Indeed, devotion is his appetizer. No matter how materially insignificant our offering may be, he accepts it and reciprocates us by giving his mercy. That mercy further opens our heart towards loving him and progressing towards him. Like one devotee was saying that, you are doing Krishna conscious activity, but are you Krishna conscious? Like I'm chanting, like Mahatma Prabhu says, yes, you are chanting, that is what the mantra means. Please engage me in your service. But are you really feeling it? That, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. So that's the hard part that comes there. So, okay, so it's 9 o'clock. We can read more later on.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.